It always amazes me when you're still here. Okay.
It's not actually happening.
First, there's a reason some of you are still here. I want to mention that 50 of you in your programs will have one of these, a golden ticket. And so those 50 people should stay and come down to the front and as everyone leaves, and we have a little gift for you, okay? So everyone can look. If you threw it out, too bad. Okay. You know, when we do it, we really do it, you know? Okay.
It's real gold.
As usual, actually, the questions were fantastic, and it's really hard to limit them, but the time is such that we have to. But they're really, really good. So I'm going to try and get through as many as we can of the ones I've selected, which is still a subset of all of them. So I apologize if your question isn't there. Okay?
I'll speak faster.
You'll be fast?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, from Elisa. When spending time studying playing a character who is either unstable or very different from you, how do you hold on to your sense of self and reality, or do you?
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in giving everything you can to the character, you know, and applying every truth that you have to the character. I don't, however, well, I won't say I don't believe in it. I find it ridiculous that there are those who choose, for example, you're playing Henry VIII. You've done your scene, you walk up to the craft service table and there's a bag of Doritos. And you eat the Doritos. You know what I mean? There's not a turkey leg there or some giant. So I find that myself, you know, somewhat masturbatory and useless. So my approach to a character, and for example, I did a film last year called Black Mass. Thank you. Where I had the honor of working with a guy named Scott Cooper, who's a great filmmaker and very brand, you know, the child, essentially. That was his third film. Approaching a character like Whitey Bulger, the easy way is to go, he's evil, he's a murderer, he's scum, he's this, he's that, you know, all those things. But you have to approach, or I felt you have to approach the human qualities of the man first and foremost, you know. Growing up in that neighborhood of Southie, where loyalty was everything. Growing up in that neighborhood, knowing the old ladies that were there and carrying their groceries, worshiping his mother, worshiping his brother, worshiping his kid, Catholic kid, good kid, you know. But his business, the business that he chose, was a violent, very violent business. And I mean violent in the sense that, like in any business, how do you stay on top? In that particular business, the way to stay on top was violence, and extreme violence, murder. It's all he knew. Now, I'm not sure that doesn't address the fact that he could kill someone and then take a nap on the lazy boy with his cat immediately following. But maybe that's just, again, you know, not occupational hazard necessarily, but a part of the gig. So I approached him as a human first, you know.
But in fact, as a human, we talked about this. The one part of that movie that was jarring to me, that didn't seem, well, I think it was jarring to you, that out of character, was when, I'm going to give it away, but when he strangled that young lady.
Yeah.
And it just didn't, the other crimes seemed sort of more in the context of something to be done. And you want to talk about that? Are you okay talking about that?
Absolutely. No, I had requested to meet Mr. Bulger, and through his attorney, Jay Carney, who was a wonderful man, and he respectfully declined to meet with me because of the book that the film was based on, which, of course, he felt was unfair. And pretty much every book that was written about him, he believes, is unfair and not his story. So I spent a lot of time with Mr. Carney, and he was very careful not to give me too much information, but he gave me enough to where I could kind of understand where the man was coming from. However, and this affects the families, and I have the deepest respect for the victims and the victims' families, but I do believe with all my heart that Bulger was not the killer of, for example, that girl. It was Steve Flemmi, his partner. It was Steve Flemmi's girlfriend. He had exposed her to a lot of information that she should not have had, put her in a very dangerous situation. And I think very simply that Whitey Bulger found out about that and told Flemmi to clean up his mess. So I believe that Flemmi is the culprit in that case. And I had a conversation, a very deep conversation, and nearly not a confrontation, but I felt very deeply about it. So we shot two versions. The one that he used, I strangled the kid, but
there's another one you didn't, that you shot.
There was another version where I did exactly what I said. She was happy to be given this place to live, and I walked up to Flemmi as he's standing there, and I said, "Oh, great, go take care of your mess, clean up your mistakes." So I believe I believe that's a falsity.
Okay, I want to move on. There's two questions from teachers, and since I love teachers, I want to use those. We all should love teachers. Oh, I'm a teacher. Elizabeth, as a teacher, I see, and it's for both of us, which I like too. As a teacher, I see many students who seem to think outside the box. However, in today's society, with school shootings and other violent acts, we tend to fear outside the box thinking. What can you tell us about thinking creatively that can help us understand the difference between being creative and being a threat?
Wow.
Good question.
That's a great question.
You want me to start? You
Yes,
want to think
please,
about it? Because I read the question, so I've had a chance to think about it.
You're also smarter than me. I'm a dropout.
I mean, the first thing which I've said on this stage before is that we need, what we should be doing with students is teaching them to ask questions, not have answers. Questioning is the process that is part of learning, and not necessarily knowing the answer. And I think so. Teaching students to feel free to question is really important. And in fact, what's really neat about that is a threat. It's a threat to complacency. It's a threat to the status quo, and we should threaten that. So, anyway. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
I can remember seeing that documentary that what's his name, the Columbine thing, Michael Moore. Thank you very much.
Michael Moore. Oh, Michael Moore. Oh, Columbia. Okay, yeah.
He did that whole documentary, and I thought that the most brilliant and caring answer came from Marilyn Manson. He was asked, "What would you say to those kids?" And he said, "Nothing. It's their parents that should have said something. Or to talk to their parents. Because the parents should have been aware of what was going on." prior to that. So Manson's answer was, I think, Manson's reaction to that was what I believe made the film. I think we're in a society now. We're in a place in this world, in my opinion, that we've gone to the very thing that we've always been fascinated with, which is some degree of voyeurism. And their reality show, reality shows after reality show after reality show. You've got Honey Boo Boo. I'm going to say that one more time. That's why, because really, because we're in the 21st century. The world's come a long ways, and it's also regressed in a lot of ways. We have Honey Boo Boo. That's now. Where do we go from there? In terms of voyeurism, in terms of that illness to want to know what your neighbor's doing, and do you know what I'm saying? It feels as if the illness of that is a very, very important and twisted part of our reality. And kids who need, to speak and express themselves without judgment, without any kind of to be scolded for a thought, or for trying to tell their dad, I'm homosexual. The pressure is on, because we've gone into this place where everything's a show. Everything has become this kind of, in my opinion, it's become this kind of, three-ring circus of you expose people.
Everything is exposed all the time. 24-hour news has to find news and make everything.
And also, it goes straight to the most negative, or the most absurd, or the most, we're ill.
Okay.
It's a culture of fear. It's a culture of...
Let's move to happier topics. As a teacher, I'm certain after 25 years that I'm doing exactly what I was put on this earth to do. Do you feel the same way about acting? What other professions would you have liked to explore?
In the early days, like I said earlier, I did films because I had to pay the rent, and I never had any aspirations of becoming an actor until I realized I was on that road and there was no turning back. I'm still not sure if I ever made the decision to become an actor. It's what I do, and it's been very good to me. But I would hate to have to say that I'm limited just to be an actor. It's a very strange thing, this thing on Saturday.
Yeah, it really is.
I would hate to limit myself as me, as a human, to say, I'm an actor and that's it, or those horrible things they call you, like celebrity. I never decided to be a celebrity. I never signed a piece of paper that says, sure, I'll be a public figure, and you can photograph me in the restroom. It's like, because if I take a picture of any of you on the street, you sue me till the dogs come home. You know what I mean? You'll sue me forever. But I can be photographed, or my wife, my kids can be photographed.
I've been there. I've seen it. It's crazy. No, I didn't. Not that. I meant I've seen people try and take pictures. I don't know.
We've not
I've been there
in the bathroom together.
Anyway, let's not.
That's
okay,
not what he
I didn't mean what I just said. But
he's a professor.
But it's fact. What about being a professor?
Sorry?
What about being a professor? You want to be a professor of practice here?
You know what? I would.
You want him to be a professor of practice here? Let's do that.
I aspire to become the first high school dropout with no diploma whatsoever to become, I don't know, a doctor
Let's do both.
a professor or a.
Let's make it happen. ASU is a. If there's any university in the country that's entrepreneurial enough to do that, it's ASU. So we'll make it happen. Okay.
And then.
Okay.
And then on top of that, I think what would be really great, and I'm thinking, of course, in terms of the films that I make, I would love to see above the title, Reverend Dr.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, PhD.
We talked about an honorary degree is too, and then your doctor professor. Okay, we're almost there.
I'd be very proud.
This is too depressing. Okay, I'm in a good mood now, and besides, we're running late.
That one I want to see.
I have a question from Gus, who's manning one of the cameras. If you could be one historical character that you've never played, who would it be?
Wow. Well, like, as in Rochester, as in John Wilmot, the great poet, who was a forgotten hero, and he should be up there with Byron, Shelley, he should be. Who's forgotten, greatly forgotten here in the United States? Thomas Paine.
Thomas Paine. That's a really good idea. Why don't we make a movie about him?
About Thomas Paine?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, it's a deal. Okay. And we could get Gus involved.
We probably should shake on it then.
Let's shake on it. Okay.
I'm in.
I'm in.
It would be great.
I can't wait to read. Okay, what in science do you currently find most interesting? And has science impacted any of your work?
No. I'm a dropout. However, when you are able to have access to the things that are happening in science, like recently we spoke about this collision of two black holes and this wave.
Gravitational waves, yeah.
On the fabric of our very, you could lock me in a room for a week and I'd still be kind of trying to figure it out, but I would never lose the fascination. So I feel there's something that I want to learn about, because science is reason. Science is, as you say, one of the most beautiful things about science is you don't know the answers.
Yeah.
You're searching for the answers. And there are other platforms where people declare this is the answer in this box and that's it, and you're stuck with it, and it's incorrect. So I have a great respect for what you do and some of the people I've met with you.
But you said it. You're not you don't want to be just one thing, and you're a human being, and science is a part of it. And I respect. I think you're inhuman if you can't be interested in that. And it's all a part. It's just, if you can't be interested in what you do and what I do and anything else, what's life worth it for?
One of the most beautiful things I've ever heard you say, as I said, I'm a YouTube fiend because of him. And when you said that we're all made of stardust, and there's truth to that.
It's utter truth.
That's sort of like, if if you could think about that every day, if that was a part of your daily, if that came to you every day, that thought, what a wonderful thought. If we could celebrate every breath that we take, because nothing's a guarantee. If we could celebrate the breath and the exhale, which is being alive, without, oh, my car won't start. Oh, geez, the cat dropped dead. Hey, I think I need a lobotomy. I mean, there are things that are very, very important in life that we don't think about, And one of the most worrisome things that I went through for years is you're freaked out about your past. You're worried. You're scared to death of the future, and that's all you're thinking about. But the now doesn't exist, And I think that's a grave mistake that we make.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll buy that. I think. I think. But I think science, especially the extremes, it serves a similar purpose to the movies. I mean, it takes us out of worrying about the things that we don't need to worry, but realizing that there are other things out there. It gives us a perspective of our place in the cosmos, which is what good film, good science, good art, good literature, it's all part of the human experience. Yeah. Anyway, okay, that's my little sermon. Carol said, music can influence mood. Do you ever use musical genres to help create characters that you play? If so, can you please give an example? Thank you. P.S. My entire family, young and old, love you. But look, I'm going to even, I picked this because we were talking about, people saw that one scene when you have the hat and you suddenly become this creepy murder.
Oh, yeah.
And you told me what you're listening to, so maybe you want to talk about that.
Yeah, as I said, I listen to music, constantly during my work, even in scenes. I find it very important to stay focused within that soundtrack. So, in that film I did, Secret Window, which is based on a Stephen King short story. When my character finally became the killer, there was a song that I would listen to that would take me straight to another place, If I was listening to music, it'd be the Goldberg variations, and then Glenn Gould, wow.
That's right.
But then have it switch to, there was an Elliott Smith song. Yeah, he was wonderful. Called Needle in the Hay. That had a quality to it that was somewhat creepy, but very, very honest, and also threatening, that I found useful. So every time I heard that song, it would help me make the turn.
Yeah, it's an amazing transition. When you told me that, it just all fit. Boom. I just saw that in your eyes. Well, this is the question you've always wanted to be asked.
What's my favorite color?
No, yeah, it's true. That's the question.
Your
Chelsea,
shoes.
Chelsea has asked this. The question is, what question do you wish someone would ask you?
Wow. We could be here for a long time. Probably bourbon or scotch.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Look, thank you, John, and thank you. Look,
Thank you.
there's a number of people I want to thank. I want to thank you, but I really want to thank you. You're an amazing audience, and you make Origins possible, and we can only do things like this because of you, and bring people like this in. So thank you very much, and thank you, John.
Thank you for having me. And thank this man for actually talking me into it.
We'll see you again.
You've been amazing, and yeah, thanks for having me. Hope to see you again.
Okay, let's go. Thank you. Thank you very much.